Welcome back, everyone. So we're just discussing, Dr. White, how people's state of mind can be also traced back to their early childhood, and it forms the basis of, a lot of ways people manage their stress and everything. And it's so profound because even while on break, we were discussing now, and we're talking about how literally that affects a lot of things that most people do. And like you said, the mind is an expression of basically everything that we absorb or we take in, right? So, just share with us, like, to what extent that this goes, of how, the early childhood can affect, the way we behave or do certain things now. If it's managing stress, if it's just getting on with, life, like.
Okay, so I will just share. So there is what we call the Sigmund Freud's stages of psychosexual development. Okay. It's how we get pleasure.
Okay.
From being small. So there's a stage called the oral stage.
Okay.
It's when children express, the only way they get pleasure is putting something in their mouth. That's when you see some children, when anything they get, they want to put it in their mouth, they want to test it. It's how they interact with their environment. Let me taste it and see, what does it taste like, So if a child doesn't leave that stage, they become what we call oral fixation. A fixation happens. So that's why you see people that, whenever they're angry, they're looking for something to eat. Whenever they're happy, they're looking for something to eat. They have some eating disorders, or they're looking for something to just put in their mouth. You have seen children that suck their thumb.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So it could be that they are still stuck in that stage of psychosexual development, that oral stage, where the only way they express themselves is to put something in their mouth. So if this person grows up as an adult and refuses to leave that stage, then you get a lot of different things. So and it can also be why these people, in order to manage stress or manage cope, they're looking for something to put in their mouth, and sometimes it can be psychoactive substance, and they want to binge, they want to use it because that is how they express themselves. So there's a child that was growing up. Whenever he was crying, the parents would just take something, go and eat. Take chocolate, go and eat. Take this. And then he got used to using things that he eats to manage whatever emotional state he was in. If he was happy, he was rewarded with food. If he was crying, he was given food to manage himself. If he was laughing, he was given food. So there was that expectation of food. And he grew up, guess what? Now he uses food to express himself. He's angry, he eats. He's happy, he eats. He's hungry, he eats. He's excited, he eats. Any intense emotion he feels, the thing that comes to his mind is to eat. So we take this back to how a person grew up and how they express themselves.
Yes.
Right. So if a person grew up in, let's say, an environment where there was, some neglect, the person might try to now overcompensate and become an empath. Or there is, we say, oh, this person is so good.
Yes.
Maybe the person is expressing a childhood trauma.
Yes.
And you're seeing a philanthropy, this person is giving a lot. But meanwhile, the person is just trying to find a way to earn respect, get acceptance from what they do. So this is how going back to childhood can affect how a person is behaving now, how a person is expressing themselves, in the context of, with other people and all of that. Yes. So this is how early childhood, the environment the person grew up, how they were raised, the belief systems, and all of that could, go a long way to affect.
I'm very big on, I believe that's the core of which is not just me being, I think if you just think about it, the core of every individual starts from the home that they were brought up, the environments that they first started their life, the introduction into the world. Because every child is a blank sheet.
Yes.
And then depending on how they grow up, they start to manifest different ideologies and things like that. Some people go contrary, like you said, to what they grew up with, to overcompensate where they're coming from.
Yes.
Some people just stick with it and say, this is what I know. And then they carry on doing that. And it reminds me of even when I went to speak to some kids recently about bullying, and understanding that some bullies have serious insecurities that they deal with.
Not some, all. So they're trying to express themselves and assert their confidence from prying and preying on other people. So it's them just, they've overcompensated for how they felt. And they felt the only way to do this is to bully people, do them before they do me.
Let me amplify their own insecurities before they get me.
Yes.
So they can't see what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to just go da 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 da.
Yes, and it comes as false confidence.
Fantastic. I feel like if we go on, there's just so many different dynamics to how, the mind works, how it affects our lives, how it affects, the kind of people that we are, right? And just briefly, just touch on this for me.
Okay.
How does the quality of mind that you have, how does that affect your general lifestyle? Like your relationships? If you can help us with some examples, it would be great. Like your relationships, the way you manage finances, the way you interact with your colleagues, your partner, just how does the quality of your mind, how much influence does that have on your life generally?
Okay, so we know that the mind is of an expression of a person's, sensations, beliefs, thoughts, ideas, and all of that. So a person is a function of what they believe in. Mm-hmm. What does this person believe in?
Yes.
They are going to manifest their core beliefs.
But do people often know what do a lot? I believe that some people don't even know what they believe.
Yes, they're just drifting in the wind. But if they calm down and check, they find that, well, this is what I say I believe this, but actually this is what I really
believe.
Yes.
Because society tells us sometimes what to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Even the home you grew up in can tell you what to believe.
Yes.
And sometimes it might be a part of you, I feel, that is rebelling or that is uncomfortable with what you know, but you feel stuck and then you feel afraid of expressing or discovering your own true beliefs, right? And so do you think too that can also affect the quality of your life, not even knowing what you believe?
Okay. Yes, of course. So there was a saying by one wise guy, one place like that. I cannot remember where. He said, a person remains the same. A man remains the same person except for the books he reads, the people he meets, and the experiences he has. Mm-hmm. So these experiences, these things, information, knowledge that a person has gathered from the environment, in whichever form they learn these things, forms their belief system. Mm-hmm. And it's what guides what they do and how they do what they do. Mm-hmm. So if a person grew up in, let's say, an environment where it's okay to behave in a certain way, right? You find that the person naturally would be behaving in this way. And if they go to an environment where there's a question mark to that, they try to suppress what they used to believe and how they grew up, the environment, the knowledge they gathered, what they learned while they were growing up, what they saw, not just what they were told, what they saw, what they interacted with.
Yeah, very important. What role do you think that spirituality plays in that? Do you think that spirituality or religion? In fact, I think we should even separate both of them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So,
so the effect that spirituality has on the mind and the belief system, and the effect that religion has on the mind and the belief system. Because when I was even speaking on the fact that some people don't even know what they believe, I think my mind was taking me back to those core issues. Because spirituality is something that you have to discover on your own. Religion is what you are told to do. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to, let me be politically correct at this point in time. But is it okay, try? I'm not going to be able to do it. But how does that affect your mind, the quality of your mind and quality of your personality, religion and spirituality?
So I gave a talk to an organization, mental health, and one of the core stuff we talked about was infusing a holistic, treatment and approach to mental health care. And spirituality was one of it. So people were already raising their hand. I said, spirituality has zero thing to do with religion. It's spirituality. It has nothing to do with your religion.
Yes.
Spirituality is just believing in, you being a part of a universe, you being a part of something larger than you. That's spirituality. It doesn't matter what you call that thing. Yes. That's spirituality. So, but religion obviously is different because there's already a preconceived notion of this is what you have to believe about, X, Y, Z, about God, about your spirit, for example, your soul and all of that. But spirituality just hangs on being self-aware of yourself. Like, what am I thinking? Who am I? And what is my purpose? So that is the entirety of spirituality.
Yes.
You saying that there's something just bigger than me.
Yes.
I ain't all that. That's just spirituality.
Yeah.
You ain't shit. That's just basically spirituality is saying that I'm not all that. There's something bigger than me. There's something more than just myself. And what is my essence in this space?
Yes.
That is spirituality. Religion now gives a name to that, a deity that you say, this is, something higher than me. In treatment, there's something we do in our substance use disorder treatment. It's the 12 steps program. Now, this is an evidence-based program. 12 steps was adopted, it's what adopted into the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. So they use the 12 steps program. And the serenity prayer starts with, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So you have to believe in a power higher than you.
Definitely.
So that is the essence
core.
of, that's the core of 12 steps. There's something higher than you that you have to hold on to help you navigate this unmanageability of your life, this substance. So that is spirituality.
Yes.
It's not the name you give to it. It's you saying that me, myself, my entirety as a person, my mind, there's something that is bigger than that.
Yes. 100%. And as you're saying this, right, it brings me to, I was just, having nostalgia about my quest for mindfulness, right? And my quest for, finding purpose and identity. And the core of that, my quest, was to find God. And for me personally, I can't speak for everybody. For me, I feel like the biggest error, but I won't call it an error because it was a path, it gave me insight, was trying to find God in religion. And I know it's going to sound controversial, but it is what it is. Trying to find God in religion heightened depression for me. Because when you're going to say, this is, I'm giving you a small template of or my own understanding of who God is and what God is, right? And what God likes and what God does not dislike. You now start to check yourself, am I worthy? Am I not worthy? Am I fitting this? And even when sometimes people say, God loves you, He loves you and your imperfection and everything, but in the same breath, you're telling me, okay, if you pray hard enough, then you can get all the miracles you want. Or, somebody say, you're struggling with this because you're not praying hard enough and everything. That's, for me, feeds a lot of depression because it's like, so this person is coming out and telling me a testimony or because maybe God likes them better. Because I pray much too. You see people, even the overcompensation thing, right? I'm going to give to pastors everything that I have so that God will see that I'm good. I'm going to go to church and do morning service, afternoon service, night service. I'm going to go and sweep the church and mop the church. And because I'm waiting for God to reward me for doing those things because that is what religion is telling me to do. And for me, I learned that not until I stopped and just learned that God is not limited to an ideology or a system or a regime. And how I understood this is because I just had an epiphany one time. And I said, if I was created in the image and likeness of God, right, it's not necessarily just the physical flesh or hands or anything. I know after said that man was created in the image and likeness of God, the next thing was that he asked Adam to speak things to life. And so the image and likeness of God, first were introduced as God spoke things into existence. And then the next thing that man does after being awoken is to speak things to life, right? And I started to believe that if I can speak things, if I can believe a thing and do it, that is me being like God. That is me walking in His image. That's being exemplary. So instead of me waiting for God to come and do something for me because I'm a nice person. How about I believe in myself and believe that no matter what I do, even if I sat in my house, and I'm not encouraging because the gathering of the brethren is important because you edify yourself. But even if I sat in my house and I didn't go to church for a day, but then I believed that I'm capable of doing something, that I believe that if I put my mind to something, I can achieve it because I'm made in Egypt. Not necessarily because I have to pray from morning till night, but because I believe in myself. And I believe that, I'm made in the image and likeness of God, and I can speak things, I can manifest, and that's more, manifestation. I think we should speak on that a bit. So, and I believe that manifestation, you can now call things to existence, but to be able to manifest, your mind must be able to first conceive what you want without doubt, and believe that I can have this thing. However it's going to happen, it will happen. And I'm going to call it forth to existence, and I'm going to be able to do this, and I'm going to be able to achieve that. And I started to realize that once you do that, the same mind, and that's why I believe that, when I said initially that I feel like God sits in the mind, the same mind starts to come up with ideas. And I believe that these are, I call them divine inspirations of how you can now achieve those things that you set your mind to. Is it a business? You say, oh, I want to start business. As opposed to sitting down in church and praying and saying, oh, let somebody bring capital and stuff for me. You can sit down and say, first and foremost, think of it. What business do you even want to do? Right? And you sit down and say, this business, I can do it. I can do it. Why can't I do it? The people that are doing it, do you have to? In fact, I'm going to start this business. I believe that somehow you find yourself thinking, to start this business, I would need, let's say I want to build a house, right? I will first need land. Your brain will tell you, I first need land. Then after land, I'm going to need cement or blocks and everything, or I'll need an architectural design. And once your mind is starting to clearly state out all those things you need, then you now start to act towards it. Okay, so where do I even go and find the land? And somehow, again, the power of God, we can't underestimate it. The power, people call him God, people call him energy, people call him frequency, but whatever it is a higher being. And in all spheres of life, we acknowledge that, and that's spirituality, that there's something that is greater than us that has brought us here, and everything is not by chance. And I know that there's this thing that we say that the fingerprints in your hand is connected to everything in the world. So once your mind is positively drawn towards achieving a specific goal, and you're positive about it, somehow everything starts to work. You start to hang out with it because your attention radar is open, is now more aware of the things you want as opposed to the things you don't want. So you start to see opportunities. And that, for me, is the true miracle. And so that's when I said I transitioned from seeking God in religion to in spirituality, like you said, in purpose, in self-awareness.
Yes.
Right? So, yeah.
So, initially, it's interesting because you initially asked a question about how, using the power of the mind, how it can influence how people interact with their finances, interact with their partners, interact with the nation at large.
Yes.
So it's that awareness. Who am I? What am I doing? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What do I want to do? People don't ask themselves questions. So they just allow themselves just drift around, just anyhow. But if they sit down and ask, so who am I? What am I doing? That awareness. A lot of people don't self-reflect. Now, people do it, to the extreme, where they self-reflect and they start generating negative self-thoughts. That is not good. But self-reflect to be able to identify where you are. What am I doing? Who am I? What am I experiencing? What am I feeling?
Yes.
It goes a long way because now your thoughts are straight. For example, you want to build, a business and you have to get a land. Yeah. And you have to put something on there.
Yes.
And in putting something on there, you have to start with a foundation. Yes. And foundation is going to need some stones, some sands. Yes. And to get that, you need to get someone that would bring the stones and sands. Yes. And to get that person, you need to, and then the person is going to use a truck to bring it. Yes. That truck needs fuel. Yes. That truck needs an engineer to check the truck, and all of these things. So people don't think deep enough to say, this is how deep, this is the layers of things that I need to do.
Yes.
And they bring that into their lives. They bring that into, their relationship with people.
Yes.
They bring that into their finances. And this is how it also reflects in the nation at large.
Yes.
So we have a bunch of people who who are not really thinking about themselves. They're not thinking to themselves. They're not self-aware of anything.
Yes.
What do you believe? I don't know. What do you think about? I don't know. They've never given it any thoughts.
Any thoughts, yes.
So we are lazy mentally because we do not think a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes people think it's, think and invent something, invent aeroplane. No, just think and do something for yourself as a human being.
Start with yourself first.
It starts with that self-awareness.
Yes.
You have to be aware of yourself, where you are, where you intend to get to, and what you need to get to that place. That is the entirety of self-awareness.
Yes. And it's like you said, to even nation building, you ask somebody, generally, I'm going to ask you to, but you ask somebody generally, what do you think about this country? Nigeria now, wow, problem full everywhere. We know that there are problems in Nigeria.
As a person, what is the problem?
What does government?
What exactly?
What is it? What is your own problem now in Nigeria?
That's the
question. What is your own problem? Government, don't see they work, don't see this working. There's like, okay, currently, what are you dealing with? And nobody's ever thinking of, what am I currently dealing with? And how can I solve that problem? And unfortunately, which we thank God for this platform, right? Unfortunately, I feel like why the rich keep getting richer is because the rich have learned one what will I say, hack. Provide solution. Right? You see a problem, provide some form of solution, right? And then over time, people will even pay you for the solution. The poor are not thinking of providing solution for the problems. It's just identifying problems.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to use a very simple example. Recently, there's something that's going on now. Everybody has been complaining, NEPA. I know from when I was little, they say NEPA will never be good because people are selling generator, right? Do you know the fantastic thing? Now somebody has developed inverter, right? Somebody has invented solar. Do you know that the rich will not cry whether NEPA bring light on it? Because if they can afford to go off-grid and do inverter and solar panels for everything, they'll do, and they'll be managing their battery. Do you understand? They are finding solutions to their problem. The person that even thought about the inverter and was finding a solution to a problem, right? But somebody will say it's government that they are waiting for. But do you know that you can take control or you can take power from the government when you have a solution-based mindset? So when you're ahead of the problem, it forces your government to even keep up. So I believe personally that the reason why maybe we can blame government for is because it's hard to even drag somebody that's not willing to come forward. We're talking about issues that are how do you get, if everybody was deciding to go off-grid, the Nigerian electric power supply company, the government institution of it, would feel redundant, right? So what would they have to do? To compensate for that, they have to step up and start, do you get, providing more electricity order. But if you're saying, you're waiting for them to do something for you, then they can be complacent about it. They say, you're waiting for me for school. You're waiting, even with education too. Everyone's thinking, formal education. But how about within your few mix, you're complaining. You that you went to school, you said that there's no job for you in government, but you're educated. What stops you from starting a small community school? Do you understand? For teaching people around basics, let them be able to even communicate and interact. What stops you from bringing your own quota? And do you know how successful you can be even just doing that? So I feel like we have a lot of problem mindset, and I think I don't know. You're the mind expert here.
It still goes back to the mind, belief systems. What we actually believe about life. What do we believe? Mm-hmm. Do we have a strong belief system? Do we? Now, there is one person woke up one time. There was a German philosopher that said, all Germans are better than the rest of the world. Mm. They are superior beings. And then someone, Adolf Hitler, got up and said, yes, Germans are better than the rest of the world. Let's enslave. We are better. So the bad mindset, when they say a Nazi mindset, it was, I am better than you. They grew up with this belief system. Now, of course, they were able to develop and build things. That is why they are some of the smartest people in the world. It's a mindset. They believe that they are smarter than everybody else.
Yes.
So they put that into practice and they develop things.
Yes.
Now, of course, they went to the extreme where they now want to enslave the rest of the world, capture everybody because, you have to be like us, because we are better than you. We are superior beings. We are up here and you are down there. In fact, they even told themselves that we are giants because we have longer, bigger, fatter, taller bones. So we are descendants of giants. People believe these things. Yes. Right? So it goes to the mindsets. Let's say as a people, as a person, what do you believe about life? That is going to guide what you do and how you do what you do. Yeah. As a community, what we believe is going to guide what we do and how we do it. As a nation, what we believe is going to guide what we do and how we do it. Do we have an identity? This is where self-awareness comes into play. So the mind, self-awareness, all the things, and how we interact with our environment, with this knowledge that we have. It goes a long way to help us do what we want to do and, inform how we do them. Now, it's not easy to change mindsets because mindsets, as I said, are a fixed mental attitude, what they believe. This is how this thing is supposed to be, and I'm unshaking, I'm unwavering. This is how it's supposed to be, even when it's not giving you the results that you want to, right? So if we want to change anything, it has to start with our minds, our mindsets. What do we believe? You as a person, forget about everyone else. What do you believe as a person? What do you want to achieve as a person? There are some people that are okay with just, the basics. There are some people, they want more. So if you are that person, you've identified that I'm okay with the basics. Let that be you. Be okay with the basics. Yes. Do not start pushing yourself to want more because someone said you have to want more and then you have to announce your status by buying a big Benz. And anyway, we are going to leave.
No, fantastic. That's really important what you said now. You said identify what you want and be okay with that.
Yes.
So if you want a simple life, know that this is what you want and be okay with that. If you want to be ambitious, but be okay with that.
Yes.
Fantastic. We're going to go on a break and then we'll be back soon.
All right.
Next up, 10 questions in 1 minute.
Welcome back, guys. It's been so fantastic. I've learned so much and, I've had so much fun doing this. So we're on our final segment. And as y'all know, is 10 questions in 1 minute. We never do this, disclaimer. We never do this 10 questions in 1 minute because, life. But the point of it is that you must answer off the top of your head, right? The first thing that comes to the top of your head. So,
are you sure?
Yes, so just say it because we're trying to. It's a get to know you session. So we're trying to get to know you. So don't overthink it. Just say it.
But I did think well. I think cool.
No. Try. We know you're a mind guy, but that's a quick mind action, right? Okay.
I'll try.
Okay. So first question: what does manifestation mean to you?
Manifestation is how you behave.
Okay.
How you perform.
Okay. All right. What does a positive mindset look like to you? Somebody with a positive mindset.
Somebody that sees the best things of life and not the negative. That's a positive mindset.
Okay. Just straightforward. Okay. What does happiness mean to you?
Happiness is feeling comfortable and satisfied in your purpose, relationships, and interaction in life generally. Okay.
All right. What inspires you?
Inspires me, I think solving problems and the need to be relevant, it inspires me.
Okay, fantastic. I think I have that. I share that in common with you. What is the best life advice you've received?
Seek help, get help.
Preach.
If you need help, seek it.
Yes.
And then get that help.
Yes, absolutely. What is the worst life advice you've received?
Worst life advice I've received. Do what makes you happy.
No, Please, I have to ask why. Why is that? So why?
Because it's too like do or make. What if making me happy now is like turning this water on your head? Should I do it? So there's a musician, Lacrae. He said, everybody says, believe your truth, live your truth, live your truth. If my truth says your truth is a lie, is it still true? So
wow. Okay. Yeah. I have to absolutely agree with that now. Fantastic. Okay. So what has been your best memory in practice so far?
In practice?
As a psychologist, therapist, medical practitioner.
Okay, it's being able to solve people's problems. So I do a lot of psychological first aid. Somebody comes to me agitated, very agitated, and I'm able to talk to the person. Then the person comes down and like, I feel better. That makes me feel good. Like, I feel much better than before.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. I can imagine that. What is one important habit a healthy person should have?
Sleep well. Make sure you're getting good enough sleep. Healthy sleep is very important. Because if your circadian rhythm is twisted, then it begins to affect other areas. It affects your emotions, it your appetite, it causes stress even.
Okay.
So sleeping well, yes.
Great.
Sleep well, eat well, exercise. Anyway, I wish I could.
Yeah.
But sleep well, eat well. Just true.
But don't overeat.
No.
Just eat well.
As I eat well.
Not okay.
Maybe to carry load. Then
as I'm eating well.
Chop well. No,
not that time.
It's not the same thing.
Fantastic. Okay. So what one word that comes into your mind when you think Nigeria?
Nigeria.
Yeah. Positive mindsets. Come on.
So one word that comes to mind when it comes to Nigeria is we're just getting started.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
Yes, sir.
I think there's too much expectation from a country that is just around 60 years old.
Yes, sir.
We're just getting started. We should be gentle and lenient with ourselves. But of course, we need an entire mental reset.
Yes. We're on it.
Systematic change.
We're on it.
We need.
Final question.
You said that final question after.
No. This is the final question now.
Okay.
What comes to your mind when you think God?
God. Omnipresent. I think that's what I think. I think God is everything.
Everything.
God is everything. I mean, God is everything.
That's the real definition. I was going to ask you to define omnipresence, but you just did already. That is the. Sometimes we say omnipresence, we don't.
There was a song I liked one time. I still like the song, and the person was reciting something from the Bible, the Book of Psalms. He said, "If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I go down to the pit, you're there too. So if I sail on the wings and go to the far ends of the earth, you're there. So that is God.
That's
so
God.
God is everything.
Everything and everywhere. Fantastic, and that's why he's the I am. Add what you want to add. I am.
Everything.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Bright, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for participating today. I'm sure you've learned so much as I have learned today. Remember, it is important to stay positive. Dr. Bright has just taught us here about the importance of self-awareness, and this is the basic thing you need to know to manage any form of stress, to manage any level of mental health challenge. You must first start with self-awareness. Self-awareness, knowing that you're part of a higher being, and then there is nothing that is too difficult. There's nothing that is insurmountable. But, stay focused, stay positive, and stay inquiring. Keep asking questions, healthy questions on how you can be a better person and how you can improve your mindsets. Lovely to have you, and thank you for walking this journey with me. All my love, ASJ. The featured product of this episode is answer this question by commenting below this video. What is the most common cause of mental health decline? To win, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. The person with the first correct answer wins the prize.